morning. I am a little bit surprised to see so many people so early in the morning, and I'm very glad to see you here. Big thanks to the BlackSeaChain team. Thank you for having me and for inviting me here. Is my presentation titled clickbait? Yes. Am I going to use this presentation to shill Ambire wallet? Also yes. Have I placed some memes on my presentation in hopes to redeem myself? Absolutely. So thank you for bearing with me. Onboarding the next billion users to crypto. I mean, yeah, it is clickbaity, but we also truly believe that it is achievable and it could be done if we make a little bit of an effort and apply a little bit out of the box thinking. Because crypto is complicated. Even for us, people who have been in crypto for a while, there are still so many new things. Things are developing so quickly. And now imagine somebody who has, say, worked at the post office for their entire life. And they have used cash, maybe checks. They have maybe started using credit cards and debit cards later on in life. But they're not really that financially savvy or technically savvy. And right now I'm picturing, let's take the example with a post office worker. Let's call him Jimmy. Jimmy has heard of crypto, because who hasn't heard of crypto? And Jimmy is interested and wants to play a little bit with it, get a little bit acquainted with crypto, figure out how they can benefit from it and whether it is for them. But crypto is scary. It is confusing, it is overly complex, and Jimmy doesn't really like to do that. They are intimidated by it because it's their money at stake. It's their retirement fund or the little bit of extra cash that they have left at the end of the month. So Jimmy is a little bit hesitant of getting into crypto. Today, I'm going to try to break up some of the complexities and some of the obstacles that we see with people trying to make their first steps in crypto. And for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to use crypto, blockchain, and Web3 as interchangeable terms. Even though there's nuances, bear with me. I'm also going to be talking mostly about Ethereum and EVM chains. And I'm going to be talking a lot about crypto wallets, not just because it's my bread and butter and it's what I know, but also because a crypto wallet or an account where crypto assets are held is usually the first point of contact between somebody who's just getting started and the vast world of blockchain and Web3. As I said, wallets and even exchange accounts present people with a very new concept that we know and love, the seed phrase. Seed phrases are incredibly confusing for normal people. They are even confusing for us. To me, they often sound like poetry, and I feel the urge to post my seed phrase on Twitter. I don't do it because I have a little bit of common sense, but a lot of people are unfamiliar with the importance of seed phrases, and I think that a lot of wallets and a lot of apps do not really communicate that importance clearly enough. They are written on tiny pieces of paper that you can lose. Your housekeeper then can throw them away. It is incredibly hard to keep your seed phrase safe. Then once you lose your password and your seed phrase, that's it for your wallet and your digital assets. Gonzo, they are gone. Piling up on the security concerns, we have a lot of phishing attacks in the space that get more and more sophisticated, and people lose funds not just because they're being scammed, but also because they're scamming themselves with the lack of technical knowledge. Because again, blockchain is complicated, it is confusing. And most existing wallets and most existing tools try to keep blockchain an elitist space. They require a certain level of intelligence, and we wear that as a badge of honor. But it shouldn't be like that, because at the end of the day, we want people to get onboarded. We want everybody to start using crypto and start living a decentralized life. Again, going back to the point where you start your journey in crypto usually with crypto assets and with maybe a little bit of trading and with a wallet, you usually acquire, I am not entirely sure about the statistic, unfortunately I wasn't able to find reliable statistics, but for most people the point of entry is not necessarily a native coin on a network. Say I have just heard about this Dogecoin because Elon Musk tweeted about it and I want to get onboarded, and I'm Jimmy from the post office and I want to buy some Dogecoin, and then I want to move this Dogecoin and do stuff with it. But I don't realize that I don't have the native coin on the network to move it around and do stuff with it. And again, I need to go and acquire that. And how do I do that? There's a lot of Googling. There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of hurdles that I need to overcome. And at one point, I'm almost ready to give up, but I don't. And I figure out that there are on-ramps. It's a separate tool. I need to go through KYC, yada, yada, yada. It is, at this point, it's already getting a little bit annoying, right? You know, and a lot of people just give up at this stage. Also, transacting is expensive. I mean, I'm guessing I don't need to elaborate on that. I'm guessing all of you have been in the blockchain space and know how much it costs to move money, especially on Ethereum, but even on Polygon, things are getting a little bit more expensive. Binance Smart Chain is moving along in that direction as well. So it could be expensive. Yes, this is the price that we pay to achieve a decentralized, a freer, a better future. But to Jimmy from the post office, that does not really matter. Let's be honest about it. To the average consumer, this is not really a thing. Not just the technology is complicated. The language of the technology is complicated. And again, this stems from the desire of the crypto OGs to be that very sophisticated, very isolated community looking at the rest of the world from above. But crypto tools do not speak human. They speak hex, and sadly, reading hex code is not something that we covered in elementary school. I learned to speak English, maybe a little bit Bulgarian, another language, but never hex. And yeah, maybe they should introduce that in schools. Transactions get stuck. Have you ever had a stuck transaction? Have you ever wondered what to do with it? Have you had to learn what a nonce is and how to replace a nonce to get your transaction unstuck? Have you played with gas limits instead of gas prices in order to get a transaction unstuck? Most people don't realize, especially people who are just getting started, and we have Jimmy here in that group. Jimmy would not realize that transactions on the blockchain are consequential. So by increasing the gas, even the gas price, not just the, say we don't really touch the limit, which is the right thing, but you can't speed up a transaction and get it unstuck if you pay more for it. No, you have to wait for the first pending transaction to be mined in order to get the next one queued up and processed. And wallets don't really communicate that. Most tools do not really communicate that clearly. So you need to, and would you even think of going to Google that and figure it out? No, probably not. If you're Jimmy, no. But let's say Jimmy has not given up. He has made it to this point. Jimmy has bought the Dogecoin. Jimmy has bought the Ether to transact with the Dogecoin and move it around. And now he's presented with cross-chain options and wants to do some cross-chain transactions. And there's yet another learning curve about bridges, and they're usually standalone. And Jimmy is again confused, and he has to learn more and acquire new knowledge. And at this point, Jimmy is ready to go back to traditional banking. Let me tell you about that. And these are just a few of the many, many, many obstacles that people face one after the other when they're trying to start with crypto. And this is why there's so many more of them. I can give you examples from here to the rest of the day, but I'm sure I'm not allowed to do that. I do have a time limit. So these are just some of the examples that I've picked for the purpose of this talk today. And now I've tried to give you examples of how we can actually solve this, and the way that we do that at Ambire, and the way that we believe is the most straightforward way to do it, is by introducing smart wallets. And smart wallets allow us to play with user experience and to give people a journey that is familiar, a journey that minimizes anxiety, a journey that makes people feel comfortable dealing and transacting with digital assets as if they are transacting in cash. As I said, smart wallets. The one thing that we started from, and I think that this is crucial, is getting rid of the seed phrase. Bye-bye seed phrase. We don't need you anymore. You're dead to us. Like our exes, we don't want to hear about you, and we don't even want to stalk you on Instagram. There is a common misconception about hardcore degens and power users in crypto that using passwords and emails to log in is for babies and for people who don't care about security, but that's not actually true. There are abstractions that can allow us to make email and email and password logins as secure, if not as having a private key and a seed phrase. If you're interested to learn more about that, about the technical part of things, find me after this talk. I will happily tell you about it. But in a nutshell, at Ambire, we use a 2 out of 2 multi-sig mechanism as a layer behind the email password to make sure that people are protected, that they can access their accounts quickly and easily, and most importantly, they can recover their accounts in case they lose their passwords. Which is something that you rarely see nowadays. I'm hoping we're going to start seeing that more and more as we move along with technological developments. With email and password, you can have upgradable security. What does that mean? That means that you can add different layers, and similarly to the real Web 2 world, whatever you want to call it, where you can add a 2-factor authentication or a social sign-in. In the case of smart wallets, you can have signers added to your account, and these signers could be, in the case of Ambire, they could be another hot wallet like MetaMask, for example, or a hardware wallet like Trezor, Ledger, or Grid Plus Lattice. Then we talked about transaction consequences and how wallets don't really visualize transaction consequences, and this allows, for those of you unaware, each transaction on the blockchain can trigger arbitrary code execution, which to the untrained eye could be, and even to the trained professional, could be very damaging, especially with upgradable smart contracts. And this doesn't really happen because usually you have a tool in the transaction information, which is the contract, the smart contract that you're interacting with. And then you have a piece of hex data, again, a language that Jimmy doesn't speak and I don't speak either. And that's that. But if you have a smart wallet that would allow you human-readable transaction parsing, which means that you get information before executing the transaction, during and afterwards, that you're sending 1,000 shitcoins to Billy on this chain, then that kind of changes things, right? You have the security and you have the confidence of transacting on the blockchain and knowing what you're doing. If you have a warning that you're sending money to a wallet or to an address that you have not interacted with before, and maybe you just want to double check it, and you can do that here or there, that gives you confidence, that gives you the knowledge that builds up and makes you more experienced and minimizes the chance of mistakes. Smart wallets have another great feature that allows bypassing infinite approvals. And again, a brief explanation here. When you're dealing with tokens are smart contracts on their own, and when you're dealing with, for example, a DEX, a decentralized exchange, you can't really send money to the DEX because the actual sending of the money would not trigger any code execution. So what you need to do is you need to basically call the contract of the DEX, give it an approval, and then the DEX would pull the money that it needs to pull, the assets that it needs to pull from you. And because giving an approval every time could be a hassle, a lot of DEXs and a lot of protocols, such as, for example, Uniswap, would have the so-called infinite approval. So you allow this smart contract to spend an infinite amount of this particular asset. And of course, you have to do that for each and every separate asset that you use. But if you eliminate those infinite approvals, you protect people from arbitrary code execution, you protect people from malicious players in that process, and also from themselves. We also have built-in DeFi and different dApps in the wallet, so you don't need to leave the wallet, you don't need to leave the smart wallet in order to go and do an operation on a different website. That could be a phishing website, yada, yada, yada. And again, that reduces the opportunity of getting scammed and of losing your hard-earned coins. We talked about how hard it is to get crypto and pay for gas and figure that whole thing. With smart wallets and account abstractions, you can actually pay for gas in stable coins or any other ERC20 token on the EVM ecosystem. Doesn't need to be the native coin of the network. So, and you can also pay for that at the end of the transaction. So say I would like to acquire, I don't know, whatever, made up coin. Within the process of that, even though I don't have any money, I have just deposited some money with my credit card, with an on-ramp provider that is built in the wallet, I would like to acquire this made-up coin, and at the end of the transaction, a certain amount of that made-up coin would be converted for me into USDC with the same batch of transactions, and the fee for that transaction would be paid in USDC. And as Jimmy from the post office, who is just getting started with crypto, I would just see that my transaction is complete and the money is in my wallet, and I'm happy and I'm ready to recommend crypto to other people, to my, I don't know, teammates at the post office. So that is something that I particularly like about smart wallets, and that you cannot really do with any other traditional wallet. And I don't know why it's just now that we've come up with that. But we did, so it does exist. We have also recently introduced off-ramps as well. You know, shameless self-promotion, sorry about that. Batching transactions. This is my favorite feature of smart wallets, batching transactions together. The other day, I batched, I think, 6 or 7 transactions with a single signature. They were processed consequentially. I could not get them stuck because they are part, when I added a new transaction, it just got added to the same batch. They were executed in order, and it was glorious, let me tell you. I felt like I'm the queen of the world just because I managed to do that. And that also cuts down on time, and that cuts down on gas fees. And remember, it's fucking expensive, right? Excuse my French. Another really, really neat feature, and again, shameless promotion, but I'm particularly proud of that feature that we have at Ambire Wallet, is the gas tank. The gas tank is, imagine it as a separate wallet that you fund with a little bit of money, and it's your prepaid gas fees wallet. So I put a little bit of tether, for example, in my gas tank, and then I can use that tether across all the different chains supported by Ambire Wallet, and I can pay my gas fees, my network fees with that money, and I also get rebates, because again, there's a complex technical mechanism that I don't really have time to explain now because they'll kick me out of the stage, but find me if you want to learn a little bit more about that, and I'll be happy to tell you about it. And again, that's an abstraction that stems from smart wallets. This is not something that traditional bad UX Fox logoed wallets offer to to people. the human readable transaction parsing, I kind of touched on that, but yeah, with Ambire Wallet and with other smart wallets, you basically see what exactly you're doing. You see that you are sending Ethereum to your mother. She will not have a clue what to do with it, but you can see that in your wallet. So that's another great thing. I also talked, I mentioned the elimination of stuck transactions and nonce management, because again, when you do transaction batching, when you kind of combine transactions into the same group that would be executed, and by the way, there's also a transaction simulation moment here, which tells you that one of the transactions may fail, and if you want, you can remove it from that batch so that you don't need to wait additionally and like go back and check it. So that's fantastic as well. But yeah, batching those transactions means that whenever you add a new transaction to the queue, it just gets added to the same batch that is about to be executed, and stuck transactions are a thing of the past. They do not exist in my world anymore, and they will not exist in yours if you sign up for Ambire Wallet later on. We also have built-in cross-chain functionality, so moving tokens across, and again, that's not, well, this is not smart wallet specific, but it's just very neat, so I decided to put it here. And this is one of the things that will help us, because cross-chain mobility is a thing already. It is a major issue for us to overcome. And if we want to onboard people, if we want to get normies on board and get them started with crypto, we need to make sure that they can easily move assets across chains. This is built in our smart wallet. And then, there's a slide that recaps everything that I said, but I don't think you're too excited about it, so I'm gonna move on to the part where you can scan this QR code or go to ambire.com and get started with the wallet. Sign up for it. It's free. It takes a few seconds if you decide to go the email and password way, and you'll be forever thankful, I think. But yeah, go and try Ambire Wallet. Also, if you have any feedback, if you would like to share what you think about it, what you like, what you dislike, let me know. There's the Twitter handle of our official account in the corner at Ambire Wallet. It will be on the next slide as well, so you have a chance to see it. But yeah, tweet at us. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, what would you like to see in the wallet. A little bit of sneak peek. We're going to be launching mobile apps very soon. Right now, the wallet is browser-based. We have mobile apps in store, will be launched very soon. We have a little bit of facelift to make it even more gorgeous than it already is. And yeah, that's it. Just to recap and to circle back to the beginning of my presentation of my clickbait title, onboarding the next billion users to crypto. We should not be scared of bringing Web 2 paradigms and Web 2 concepts to Web 3. We have been trying to run away from them for years now, but people like the sense of familiar. People like to feel confident when they transact with assets, whether it's fiat or crypto or Pokemon cards. They need to know what they're doing. They need to feel in control. And this is what we have been lacking for a long time in crypto. So it is good UX. It is a comprehensive and easy and hassle-free user journey that will let us bring our mothers, our drunk uncles, and maybe our grandmas to crypto. Thank you very much. I think we do have some time for questions, do we? About 3 minutes for questions. Okay, if you have a question, go now. Or just find me afterwards and ask me in private. Sorry, could you speak up a little bit? I will be at the conference for the whole day, and afterwards, you can find me at vanina@ambire.com. That's my email address, or my Twitter is @inks. That's how old I am. I have a 4-letter Twitter handle. But yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn. I think that if you just type Vanina and Ambire on Google, you'll probably get a lot of results and a lot of embarrassing stuff. I should probably check that before telling people at conferences to Google me. But yeah, if you have any questions, that's where you can find me. At Ambire Wallet on Twitter. We have a vibrant Discord community as well, so you can find us there. Our mods are there. I am there. Our CEO is there. We're a very approachable company. We're small enough to be approachable.
One question on my side. Hi, Vanina.
Hi.
Right here.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
So you just briefly mentioned off-ramps.
Yes.
And I know that all of these third-party services recently provided only on-ramps.
Yes.
So what is happening with those off-ramps?
What's happening with off-ramps? Off-ramps are just here to make my life easier because, I don't know, the universe kind of like coincided to make it easy for me and for everybody in crypto. We recently started working, and our provider is Guardarian. They're a company that offered, up until recently, they offered on-ramps only, but they have started offering on-ramps as well. Another one of our on-ramp partners, Ramp Network, has literally just launched off-ramps last week. And Transac, a third on-ramp provider that we're working with, is also launching off-ramps by the end of the year. They do require KYC if you're using the service for the first time, but that's the case with on-ramps as well, because these are licensed, regulated companies. Some of them are based in the European Union, some of them are based in the States or Canada, and being a financial services provider, they are required to be licensed. The license brings the condition of doing KYC. However, the KYC that you undergo, unless you are trying to move a quadribajillion dollars, I guess, is very easy and very straightforward. It's usually automated. It gets done in a few minutes. Same with the off-ramp. I just tested the off-ramps that we have integrated on Ambire because we literally launched them last week. It took me approximately 45 minutes from initiating the transaction to getting the money into my bank account. It can get up to 3 business days, depending on how busy they are, I suppose. Or maybe they're just, ensuring that people don't get frustrated, so they kind of like give a little bit of longer time frame, just in case. But in this particular case, when I tested it, took me about 45 minutes to get my money from crypto to fiat to my bank account. And also, if you do that, check what's the tax situation and make sure to pay your taxes, because you don't want to go to jail for selling 100 shitcoins. Thank you very much for the question. But yeah, if you wanna know more, if you guys are curious about off-ramps, let me know. The process is extremely straightforward. It is just as easy as getting your money on ramp. Pretty straightforward and very, very convenient. And unlike exchanges that allow you to withdraw funds to fiat, from crypto to fiat, it doesn't take 3 days. Awesome. Okay, I see the sign that we are good on time. Again, thank you so much for bearing with me and with me shilling Ambire wallet. But again, it's the best wallet that you'll see on the market. Thank you. Have a great day.